this off. jpup was probably focusing down some marauders. I'm actually going to rewind this just a little bit, just because I can. Not focus on the command center. We can see the forces moving out, and we can see that jpup did indeed kill an immortal with those first couple of shots, right as he came in there. Let's watch this. EMP looks so cool. I mean, it's like a Protoss building warping it, except it's also like a bunch of Protoss units warping out because they're out of shields, and they're all dying because Terrans are awesome. And look at that, so cool. That Immortal just gets taken down almost instantly. Marauders do bonus damage to armor, and Immortals don't really have that much health once you take out their shields. They're relatively squishy. Or at least they're as squishy as every other unit in the game. And it does look like cheesechild is going to be able to clean this up fairly easily, but not without losing his Immortal, and those Immortals are just really the backbone of his army. They're the things that allow him to take out Marauders very easily, although Zealots have been proving very effective in that role. And since we've got the Resources tab open right now, and we can see that jpup's income is skyrocketing, we can look on over. It looks like he's still at 6 something, and he's beginning to call down mules on this semi-island base right here. I say semi-island because it's a complete island until this little bit of rocks right here gets taken out, and then it's no longer an island, so it's a semi-island. It's like a semi-truck is sometimes a truck and sometimes it's not. At least when it's Optimus Prime. When it's not Optimus Prime, it's really not that at all. I am a dirty, dirty liar. And if we pop back on over to the Resources tab, we can see that both players are very even on food, despite the fact that jpup is going to have a massive, 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 massive resource advantage momentarily. jpup also has the ability to grab his natural relatively cleanly, because his natural is relatively defended on this map. This map, I didn't really get a chance to talk about this map. This map is interesting, but the rush distances are very, very short. It's a 2-player map, and there's not that much ground to cover right between these two bases right here. In fact, without these little reeds, it would be almost too close. But these reeds do provide a nice pathing blocker, at least theoretically. I'm not really sure how much I've noticed them in practice, just because I kind of have overlords or observers, or scan whenever I feel nervous. But they do force a little bit of an extra mechanic. There is Zelnaga watchtowers on either side, but these Zelnaga watchtowers do not cover the center. You do need additional units to do so. cheesechild is covering the center right now with an observer. Very, very smart idea of him. And he's coming in. It does not look like jpup has any detection of it. No, jpup does have a couple of missile turrets, so this observer is going to have to be really careful. Right here. And this observer does not get taken down. This observer is being extra cautious, not getting taken down by those missile turrets, and scouting that jpup does indeed have nothing at this goal. But what's this? This observer is going over the rocks to the semi-island. Let's come over to the cheesechild's cam right here. I really wish we could watch his face as he discovers that jpup does have a fully established expo right here, and that he is not in the one base lead that he probably thinks he is previously, or thought he was previously. I mean, he's correct at tense. cheesechild, in the meantime, is adding in a couple of Templars. Templars are a valuable addition to the Protoss army when they do not get EMP'd. And as we have seen, jpup has been doing a very, very nice job of EMPing literally the entirety of his opponent's army. jpup's actually added on several medevacs. He's got a reactor on the starport, so he's just basically committing to producing medevacs. He's not going to produce any Ravens or anything fancy off of that starport in this game. And it looks like he is boating over a couple of troops, probably to defend his expo, just in case anything weird happens, just in case any DT drops or anything happens. He's got scanned to deal with DTs, but he does need some amount of combat troops in there, just in case. No, it doesn't look like he's just going to go for a stim marauder drop in the back of his opponent's base. I am wrong. And as we say this, it looks like cheesechild is coming in with a dropship of his own. These dropships do cross. They do have vision of each other. Both players know what's going on. Both players know that each other are dropping each other. There was an amazingly, amazingly bad sentence, and jpup is going to be able to double back with these marauders. 4 marauders are going to be nothing compared to these 2 immortals. These 2 immortals are going to be able to do a massive, massive amount of damage to jpup's marauders, actually. These marauders just getting taken down. Not really sure why jpup is even bothering dropping these marauders just on top of 2 immortals like that. And it looks like cheesechild has switched his warp prism into awesome mode and reinforced with several zealots, and these several zealots are going to be able to take out all of these SCVs in conjunction with the 2 immortals and just absolutely, absolutely wipe up this expansion. Very, very, very nice warp prism play by cheesechild. And EMP going off on the entirety of cheesechild's army as jpup's army is moving up. I'm sorry, I did not miss that. I was just not talking about it, I swear. Nice EMP. This EMP does not catch any of the Templar, though, and it looks like EMPs are going off the Templar far too late, as the entirety of jpup's army is completely in the red because of all those storms, but it does look like cheesechild has very, very little force, and these Templar are completely useless now that they're out of energy, and they do not have enough energy to storm, so jpup is going to be able to clean this up. jpup just going to be able to kill that last Templar, going to be able to knock out this pylon and this expansion momentarily. In the meantime, it looks like he has not been able to land his expansion, his semi-island right there. If I were cheesechild right now, I would knock out those destructible rocks. Just take a couple of actions. When you're getting dropped like this, it's important to sit back and say, okay, what do I need to do to stay in the game? And one of the things that you can really do in order to stay in the game is ensure that jpup does not just land that expansion right away and completely eliminate any of the damage that cheesechild was able to do with that drop. And one of the things he can do to prevent that is just to knock out those rocks, so he can attack it with a more conventional force later. It does look like cheesechild is actually at full energy on his Nexus, but chrono boosting wouldn't really do anything right now just because he is at a very, very poor economic position, and producing units faster is not really the best thing when you are in that kind of a position, just because you can't really afford the next production cycle, so it's kind of a waste. And Warp Gates already front-load the units anyway. Looks like jpup is just going to go ahead and take this gold because he had the semi-island taken from him. He doesn't really care, and it does look like cheesechild was following my advice telekinetically in the past, several patches ago, and taking out those destructible rocks just so that he had an easier access of attack. And these Marauders are going to be able to clean up those Immortals fairly easily. Those Immortals do not stand a chance to that massive blob of Marauders. cheesechild is coming in with another large army. He's got his Templars way in the back, so they're going to be very hard for jpup to storm. I don't even think jpup has any ghosts in this blob, and it does not look like he does. jpup actually has 3 ghosts. Where are these ghosts? These ghosts are coming in the back. Ghosts are actually cloaked. It looks like... no, ghosts are not cloaked. I am dumb. And it does not look like he's going to need EMP. Some very nice storms from cheesechild went off when I was watching, though, and we can see that the entirety of jpup's army is at very low health because of that, but he is going to be able to clean that up, and I'm actually going to watch the storms. I'm going to completely abuse the rewind function in this replay and drive everybody watching it nuts. Here we see the Immortals taken down. Here we see the ghosts moving out, all 3 of those ghosts. They were literally just produced. Looks like jpup is actually out of ghosts, and cheesechild is moving into these zealots, and jpup is moving into position, and we already know what's going to happen, but I'm still going to act surprised when these zealots just get slaughtered by these marauders, and so storms are about to come off right now, right on top of that blob, and that blob is not anywhere near mobile enough to move out before massive, massive, massive damage are done. You can see the health on all of those units is very low. These medevacs are absolutely instrumental in picking them right back up, and this ghost is not doing a whole bunch, and actually getting sniped by these stalkers in the back. Looks like this last stalker and this last immortal are actually doing amazingly disproportionate damage. I'm actually going to tab on over to the units lost thingy, and we can see that jpup has lost a bunch of units, and so has his opponent, which is completely surprising at this point in the game. jpup has lost trivially less units, but really, he's also been ahead on economy, so that really doesn't say a whole bunch. And even though he was able to take out his opponent's expansion, his opponent was able to kill all of the SCVs from his semi-island, so they're not necessarily that uneven right now. If we tab on over to food, we can see that I'm lying through my teeth, and jpup is massively ahead. He's 34 food ahead, when his opponent only has 24 food. So I am an idiot, and I should really check that tab before I start making comments like that. jpup has 0 detection outside of these missile turrets, though. A couple of Dark Templars being added on by cheesechild, because cheesechild has plenty of gas at this point. And you just throw down a Dark Shrine, throw down 2 Dark Templars, use them to supplant his army, and they would inflict amazing damage and help him stay in the game, just because jpup, again, has no mobile detection, would have to play scans. Scans are a waste of minerals, because it prevents him from using Mule. And if you mix DTs in with a more conventional army, it's a lot harder for your opponent to spot them, because instead of going, oh, my units are dying out of the blue, they're going, oh, my units are dying in a battle with a bunch of the enemy's units, and it's really, really hard for them to make a call and say, hey, there's a bunch of these guys that do 1 billion damage a hit, 1 billion DPS, mixed in with my opponent's army, and I'm not able to focus them. It does look like both players are very content to sit back and macro, which is a smart decision from jpup, because his opponent is completely out. jpup actually just had a scan go off, and if we pop on over to his vision, we do see that he is aware that cheesechild does have that expansion up in the gold, and he's probably going to take that out momentarily. cheesechild is coming in with a storm drop on this gold mineral expansion, but it does look like there is at least 1 turret up, which is going to make this warp prism play a little bit harder for cheesechild. And jpup is psychic. jpup knows exactly what's going on. jpup is moving in to intercept this warp prism. This warp prism is spotted by jpup, I'm actually going to watch this entire thing in jpup's view, see if this War Prism goes out of range, and it does not. This War Prism completely out of shields, as it just comes around. It looks like it's going to have to come into jpup's natural. jpup's natural is completely undefended, no turrets there, no forces, and these High Templars are going to absolutely be able to make mincemeat out of these SCVs, unless